Hi, first graders. So in math this week, we've been practicing counting cubes efficiently, which means the quickest way to get to the right answer. And we've been thinking about what do we know about hundreds, tens, and ones. So on this page today, we're going to practice doing this. So before we do anything though, I want to review with you the hundreds block. So I'm going to zoom right in on it. So the hundreds block, remember we did in math the other day, is a large square. So that large square has 100 of these little cubes. Okay? They're in groups of 10, so each of these rows has 10 cubes. So if we counted by tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. This whole group of cubes has 100. It's a large square. So when we see this block, we say 100. We don't count by ones. We don't count by tens. That would take too long. We just say 100 when we see this block. Okay? We know that a group of 10 cubes is 10. And then finally we'll count the ones. Okay? So the best way, the most efficient way to count this is not to count each block, each cube individually. That would take way too long. It also takes too long to count these by tens because we know this is 100. Okay, so let me show you on the first one how we're going to count this. 100, 110, 111, 112. So you noticed I said 100 for this square, a large square with all these cubes, 100, and then I know this is 10, 100, 110, 111, 112. Let me just put my phone down for 1 minute so I can uncap the marker. Okay, so if I was going to draw this, so you should have a piece of paper. So if you don't have a piece of paper and a pencil, put the video on pause and go grab a piece of paper and a pencil and come back. So on your paper, this is how we draw a 100 cube. You just make a large square. Okay? So in this problem, we have 100 cube. We have 110, so we just make a line for the tens. And we have 2 ones. So we're just going to make the dots for the ones. Okay, so that's how you draw it on your paper. So let's count it again. Let's do it all together. 100, 110, 111, 112. And then we're going to write that number right beside it. 112. So we see there's a 1 in the hundreds place because we have 100 block, a 1 in the tens place because we have 1 10 block, and a 2 in the ones place because we have 2 ones blocks. 112. Okay, let's do the next one. So to yourself, I want you to count how many cubes there are. How many of those blue cubes? Okay, so if you need more time, I want you to pause the video. But if you're ready, you can just continue on with us. Okay, so hopefully you did not do this. Hopefully you didn't do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way to the end. That's not an efficient way to count. And hopefully you didn't do this. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Nope. Because we know how many is this. This is 100, so we just say 100. Now this isn't quite 10. Don't say 110 because there's not 10 here. If it was 10, it would be the whole row would be filled up. Okay, so it's not 110. So what comes after 100? 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108. Okay, so on your paper, you're going to draw your 100 block. Remember, that's a large square. Now there's no tens. There's no 10 blocks. How many ones blocks do we have? Right, there's 8. So we're going to draw 8 dots. So on your paper, draw 8 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's count them again. 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108. Now, this is how you're going to write 108. We have 100 block. Do we have any tens blocks? No. So we need to put a 0 because we have 0 tens blocks. And how many ones do we have? 8. 108. This is, I'm going to show you what sometimes kids make a mistake. They might write a 1 and an 8 because they see a 100 block and then they see 8 ones. Well, that number is not 108. That number is 18. That's very different. So you have to be careful. So if there's no tens blocks, you have to put a 0 in the tens place. Okay, so that number says 108. Okay, let's keep practicing. Let's do the next one. Okay, so take a minute and count these cubes and then think about how many cubes. Okay, so let's come back together. So if you need more time, you can stop the video. But the rest of us, let's count them together. So hopefully you said for this 100 block, hopefully you said 100. 100, 101, 102, 103, 104. Okay, so let's draw that on our paper. So remember, a 100 block is just a large square. Do we have any tens blocks? No, no tens. How many ones are there? There's 4 ones. And remember, we represent the ones with dots. So we're going to draw 4 dots. Okay, so that's how your paper should look. Now let's practice writing the number. So we have 100, right? 100 block. So we have a 1. Do we have any tens? No. So what do we need to write here if there's no tens? A 0. And how many ones? 4. So let's count this again. 100, 101, 102, 103, 104. And that is 104. If we accidentally leave out the 0, look what happens. It's not 14, it's 104. So be careful, make sure you put that 0 in if there's no tens. Okay, so I'm going to erase mine. You just continue on your paper for the next one. Okay, let's look at this one. So take a minute and count how many cubes. Okay, let's do it together. So we know that this right here equals 100. So when we see this, we say 100. We don't count each cube by ones. We don't count by tens. 100, okay? And then we see there is a group of 10. So let's count together. 100, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118. Okay, so let's draw that on our paper. So we have have to draw our 100 block, which is a square. And how many tens, how many groups of 10 do we have? We have one group of 10. So there's our group of 10. And remember, we represent the tens with a stick or a line. There's our tens. And then how many ones are there? There's 8, because this doesn't quite make a group of 10, right? So these are ones. So there's 8 of them. So we represent those with dots. So draw 8 dots on your paper. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so let's count this together using our drawing. Do it with me. 100, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118. Now we need to write the number. So how many hundreds blocks do we have? Right, we have 1. How many tens do we have? How many tens blocks? We have 1. And how many ones? We have 8. So that's how you write 118. Okay? All right, let's do the next one. So think about how many cubes. Okay, so let's count them together. So we know this represents 100. This is 100 cubes. So when we see that, we say 100. And now we have a group of 10. So now we're going to count by tens. We go 100, 110, and then keep going. 111, 112, 113, 114, 115. Now you're going to draw that on your paper. So we have, remember the square is 100. We have 110, one group of 10, and we have 5 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So to write our number, we have a 1 for the hundreds place because we have 100. We have one group of 10, and we have 5 ones. So that's how we write 115. Okay, last one, first graders. How many cubes? So right now you should be figuring out how many cubes. Okay, let's come back together. So hopefully you said, when you saw this, you said 100, right? You didn't count each one. You didn't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, that would take way too long to count all those. And also counting by tens, if you're going 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, it takes too long, right? The most efficient way, the quickest way to do it is to say 100. Now there's no tens. There's no tens because if there was a 10, this row would be filled up. There would be 10 cubes. It isn't filled up. It's not 10. So we just count on from 100. So count with me. 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107. So we're going to draw over here on our paper, my whiteboard, your paper. So there's our 100. Do we have any tens? No, there's no tens. So we're not going to draw a stick because there's no tens. Up here we had a 10. We don't have any tens here. How many ones? Right, there's 7 ones. So we're going to draw 7 dots to represent the ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So now we're going to write the number. So we have 100. So we're going to write a 1 because we have 1 hundredths block. Do we have any tens? No. So what do we need to write here in the tens place? A 0. Very important. And how many ones do we have? 7. So our number is 107. Let's count from our drawing all together. 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107. And there's our number, 107. Okay, first graders, good job today in math. So keep working hard, and we will see you again soon. Take care, everyone.